Hello and welcome, friends. My name is Frenzy, and today we're starting a new video series called Overwatch Character Profiles. The purpose of these videos are basically not necessarily to be, this is how you play a pro character, but really for newer players or even regular players to kind of get a basic understanding of the characters. Not a, this is how you play a pro Winston or this is how you play a pro Diva, but really to try to understand what is this character's role, what is their function, and what are they capable of. And so, this is what we'll spend the rest of the video doing, and today we're taking a brand new look at Winston. Winston is a unique character in that he is a tank, but his shield ability doesn't quite hold up to, say, Reinhardt, for example. He does have a shield, which is incredibly useful for what he is supposed to do in the game, but don't rely on it necessarily as your primary method of defense, right? You're not going to be tanking with your shield compared to, say, a good Reinhardt. One thing that is useful is his Tesla cannon, which doesn't require too much aim. He's a really good intro tank. You see, he can do a lot of good things and a lot of good abilities, but he doesn't require to have amazing aim, which is always nice when you're starting out, say, with a new character, or just in general with a first-person shooter. His jump. He jumps far and wide, and it does damage when he slams down. It can be a really useful finishing move to jump on healers. One of his primary roles, as you can see, is finding DPS characters, whittling them down. Now you have to be careful. Characters like Reaper or even McCree can also whittle you down pretty quickly, so you have to be careful. But he can get behind the enemy lines, he can jump in, and he can melt those DPSs, get those early 1 or 2 kills, and really change a push or a defense. And one other thing that you should really focus on as well is melting those healers down. That is one of your biggest things. Healers can often try and change a push or a defense of an area, and so really what you want to be focusing on is getting those healers down. A Mercy, a Lucio, an Ana, whoever it may be, jumping back there, causing havoc, getting rid of those healers, which gives your team a huge advantage. This is truly one of the keys to Winston, is getting those DPS characters, but also prioritizing finding and melting down those healers until they are a big pile of mush. Another crucial role for Winston is to be a backline disruptor. Now, this is not really something that may show up in the stat sheet, but it is something that's incredibly useful. When you can draw attention away during a push or a defense of an area, you will likely help out your teammates who are trying to focus and kill and heal and all these other things. So being able to do this consistently is what makes Winston one of the best tank characters. Again, you do want to be careful. You don't want to jump behind everyone and then immediately die, because that puts you at a disadvantage. Know the situation, know the role, and know what you're capable of, and also be able to jump out if you need to. Winston's ult is not overwhelming in terms of damage, but it is useful in the fact that if you're being pushed, you can pop it and immediately jump to 1,000 health and then start pushing people around, getting them off the point, maybe getting an environmental kill depending on the map. So don't rely on it necessarily for damage, but it is useful for clearing points and pushing the payload. Again, as I've sort of mentioned along the way, be careful with Winston. He can become one of those characters who inevitably hurts your team if you're jumping behind the enemy line, overextending, getting picked off, and then putting your team at a disadvantage. He also can struggle against some characters such as McCree or Reaper in particular. Tends to be a pretty hard counter for Winston, so be careful of that. Make sure if you need to jump back into your teammates. Well, that concludes our very first character profile of Winston, the monkey man himself, jumping in backlines, disrupting and melting healers. Hopefully you feel a little bit confident about using Winston now. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see a little bit more of these types of videos. And if you enjoyed it, again, tap that like button, always appreciated. Comments and suggestions down below of characters you would like to see in the future are definitely appreciated as well. And as always, I'll see you next time.